So EQing vocals or vocals in general can be frustrating to mix. Sometimes they sound stuck on and they don't flow with the rest of the track, don't sit in with the instrument bed, and it can pose some problems and make your mixes sound like sort of amateur hour in a way. But so I'm going to go through 6 frequency ranges here. You can start with when you're in trouble EQing your vocals, and hopefully that will help you make them fit better and sit well with your song or in your song. So however, it goes without saying, this is sort of a caveat before we get started. No amount of EQing is going to fix a badly recorded vocal, so make sure you have a clean and well-recorded vocal before you start mixing it. All right, I'm going to use a fun track as an example, or to use the vocal. I'm going to use the vocal track in this song. This is called Mailbox Money. It's by the Texans Roadhouse Band. They are one of my insider. This is one of my insider walkthroughs, and Jake is a insider as well. And it was a lot of fun mixing this track. So I'm just going to show you what we're working with. Obviously, we're going to be using focusing mostly on the vocal, but I thought I'd let you hear the first verse just for fun.
I was born with a head full of songs. I used to sing them as I worked all day long, punching that time clock, just waiting for that whistle to blow.
All right, so pretty cool, groovy song. So let's go through this. Obviously, you can hear that there is some processing on everything because this is a mixed song, but I'm going to exaggerate a lot of stuff here on the vocal track so that you can get a feel for what these frequency ranges sound like. Starting with a number 1, the too low range, the low end that oftentimes isn't necessary, because usually you can filter the vocals quite severely in the lowest range. So you just flip on a low cut filter on your microphone when you're recording. You could even do that, but you can also do this after the fact, but with your low pass or high pass filter in your DAW or with your EQ. So this is, I'm cutting up here to about 100 hertz. Jake does have a kind of a low chest vocal or chest sound in his vocal, so maybe that's too much. So let's start with 75 and see what I can do if I boost here between 75 and 100, if that adds anything to it. So let's solo the vocal and just hear the difference between, let's see what happens when I boost it.
I was born with a head full of songs. I used to sing them as I worked all day long. Ooh. I was born with a head full of songs.
So not a lot going on there, so we could probably go up to about 100 and just leave it there. And this obviously goes by, depends on the singer's voice, but around 100, maybe even a little bit above 100 if you have a female singer or somebody with a tone that seems higher in the frequency spectrum. And obviously listening is critical here because you don't want to cut off the singer's fundamental character. Singers such as Leonard Cohen come to mind. I doubt that it would be a good bet to cut all the low end from Leonard Cohen's voice. It would be a real disservice to the man's vocal sound. All right, let's move on to number 2, the thick 150 hertz. And that's sort of where you can round out a vocal, making it more thick and full. So search around the 150 hertz area for that. Some singers actually do sound thin and maybe a little nasally, a little scrawny, if you will. And they can do with a little meat on their vocal cords. So boosting here can give that vocal a little more punch. So let's hear how that sounds on this vocal.
I was born with a head full of songs. I used to sing them as I worked all day long.
Let's take some of these effects off just to get a good sense of what's going on. What's going on with this is SSL. There's a tiny little cut here. It's a little bit of a boost here in the 3000. and then there is a boost in 270. All right, so 270 is sort of this thickness area, kind of like this one. So if we just look at the SSL channel here, actually it's 7 dB. Let's just take this off and increase that. Hear what that 270 sounds like.
I was born with a head full of songs. I used to sing 'em as I worked all day long, punching that time clock, just waiting for that whistle to blow. I was born with a head full of songs. I used to sing 'em as I worked all day long.
So there is that thickness there. So maybe 150 to 250 will add some weight to your vocal cords. And then you have the honky number three, the honky boxiness at sort of 3 to 500, 3, 4, 500 area here. That's sort of where your vocal lacks definition and kind of sounds boxy. Kind of sounds like if you put your hands over your nose and kind of talk like this, you can hear how it kind of gets weirdly honky that way. So when we're cutting here, we want to make sure, let's see if we can find some honkiness in this vocal, but I'll try to exaggerate it for effect.
I was born with a head full of songs. I used to sing 'em as I worked all day long, punching that time clock, just waiting for that whistle to blow.
Yeah, as you could hear there, it's sort of kind of got progressively boxier as obviously the more of that boxy frequency I added. So if you can hear that in your vocals, maybe that's the place you should look. All right, and then nasalness at 1K. I would look for nasalness around 3 to 500 first, and then there's also that's sort of the lower end of that. It's a weird sort of harmonic relationship that I've found, but you can also get this sort of nasally telephone voice from 1K. So let's bring that out.
I was born with a head full of songs. I used to sing 'em.
Obviously, this is a 20 dB boost, so don't go overboard with that, because if you have that in your vocal sound and you need to get rid of it, that's where you look. But 1K or 1 to 1.5K, it's actually a great place to look as well for adding just a little extra, getting it to cut through the mix. So if we boost just subtly here around 1.2, you might find that it cuts through better.
I was born with a head full of songs. I used to sing 'em.
Well, it's still a little bit sort of nasally, but so that's oftentimes just the sound you get if you have a specific mic or specific microphone technique. But if you are listening to your vocals in your mix and you think, oh man, it's sounding too sort of nasally, sounds like my singer has a cold, start checking it out there. And then in your face presence of the 5K, that's frequency range number 5. In your face presence of the 5K. So if your singer doesn't seem to be cutting through the mix, he might need to be given some 5K, and it'll push that vocal more to the forefront and give the singer that much needed presence. So let's add that here. About 5.
I was born with a head full of songs. I used to sing 'em as I worked all day long, punching that time clock, just waiting for that whistle to blow.
And then finally, the 6th frequency area of the vocal you want to keep in mind is the sibilance around 7K. And let's see if we can bring out those S sounds with a really narrow Q and boost here so you can hear it coming through.
I was born with a head full of songs. I used to sing 'em.
And as you can see here, I have a de-esser already, so let's deactivate that and see if it cuts through even more.
I was born with a head full of songs. I used to sing 'em as I worked all day long, punching that time clock, just waiting for that whistle to blow.
So if your singer is suffering from too much sibilance, too much S's coming through, you can cut in the 7K area or in that range, start there and hunt around, or you can use a de-esser as well. So this is the Fab Filter de-esser, and it is cutting sort of between 6 and 14K on the S areas.
I was born with a head full of songs. I was born with a head full of songs. I used to sing 'em as I worked all day long.
And you can hear how it's reducing here when it is when the S's of the words come through. So those are the 6 frequency areas of the vocal. So just I'll put this mix in here. This had only a 75 or 72 hertz cut, so trying to keep the low end going. There is no additional low end. There was plenty in his voice already. There is a boost in the weight slash power slash body in 250, 270, and then a little bit of boost in 3.5, which is, you could call it clarity, and then 5K is maybe presence if you want to divide them up that way. And then there's a bit of a cut here in 7. So those tend to follow those 6 frequency areas I was talking about. All right, so those are the 6 vocal EQ areas you should keep in mind when you're EQing your next vocal track. I hope you found this video useful. Please remember to like and subscribe. And if you want my mix translation cheat sheet to help you get your mixes sounding great on every speaker system, please go to mixfinisher.com and download it there. Once again, I'm Björkman from Audio Issues. Thanks for watching.
I was born with a head full of songs. I used to sing 'em as I worked all day long.